everyone, so it's time for another middle grade March vlog. I had wanted to do a couple of these that were themed during middle grade March, and I did one a couple weeks ago, which was reading books with Asian main characters or set in Asia, so I'll link that down below if you want to check that out. I ended up reading 9 books in that vlog. I don't think I'm going to read as many this week because these are bigger books that I have on my list for this week, but I kind of have tried this twice, and last week I started one and abandoned the project. So last week I was going to start a vlog where I read all the award winners, like all the middle grade books that won awards that they announced those all at the beginning of 2022. And I started 3 different books and put them all down after 2 chapters. And not that they were bad, I could see why they won awards, but so many of these award winners are contemporary books. And contemporary middle grade is just not my favorite genre. And while I could see that these were interesting topics and things that would be good for kids to read about, they just weren't interesting to me, and I was getting in a really bad slump. As in, I have not finished a book in over a week. The last book I finished was All 13, and that was Sunday the 13th, and today is Monday, is it the 21st? So yeah, it has been over a week since I have even read more than a chapter or 2 of a book. So yeah, I just knew that that wasn't gonna work, and so I abandoned that idea, returned those books to the library. I will read The Newbery Winner because that one is a sci-fi book, but I'm going to wait, because what I'm going to do in this one is my plan is to return to what I love, and that is reading middle grade fantasy. And part of that is continuing series, starting new series. And so a lot of these books that I want to read in this vlog are fantasy series books. There are some fantasy standalones. I decided to start over here because these are the possibilities, and there are some that are fantasy standalones. But for the most part, my goal this week is to just read fantasy things that I love. So I'm going to show you what I am currently reading. These are things that I have already started in the last few days, and so I'll be, finishing them hopefully this week, and then some other possibilities I might pick up if I finish all these. So first I have Wolf Speaker by Tamora Pierce. This is the second book in the Immortals Quartet. So this would be me continuing in a series, and this is one where I have tried to read this 3 different times. I picked it up last year, but then I was like, oh, I really need to reread the first book. So I picked up the first book, read that, then didn't pick this up for a while. Started it at the very beginning of this year, put it down after 2 chapters, and then finally at the beginning of this month, I made it halfway through. So I'm at page 150, about halfway through. So I would like to finish this. I'm just not loving it as much as the first book. And the first book in the series was 5 stars. This one might turn out to be a 3-star, but I'm hoping that the third book will bring it up again. So I do want to finish this one and hope that the series will go back to being as good as the first book. I'm just not really loving where the plot is going, and this one is just very slow moving, where the first one was very well paced and interesting. And this one doesn't have that many characters either. Most of the characters are animals. There's hardly any human characters in it. And our main character talks to animals, so it makes sense that she would have animal friends and things. But in the first book, there were lots of human characters as well. And so I'm losing a little interest, so I'm going to finish this one. And then one of the series that I pulled out of the jar to start this month is The School of Good and Evil. And I did start this one barely. I'm 25 pages in. So this one I just started and will be working on this throughout the week. And then my audiobook that I started yesterday is Pahua and the Soul Stealer. And this one I am loving, and I'm not even very far at all. I might be farther than what my bookmark says. Yeah, but I'm not very far in at all. But from the very beginning, I was loving it because she has a cat companion. Our main character, Pahua, can see spirits. And so, in her house, they have a stove spirit and a door spirit. And she's got this constant companion, which is a cat spirit. And, you would imagine a cat spirit to be, he's very sarcastic and kind of grumpy a lot of the times. But her constant companion also, very protective of her and loyal. Very much like a real cat. And I just love that it has a cat companion. So I'm enjoying that and really liking the audiobook, especially because of the pronunciation. I'm really enjoying getting all of the folklore pronunciation things through the audiobook. So that one I will definitely be getting more into today. And then I have a read aloud. I'm reading R.O. Shaw and the Song of Death with my 7-year-old. This is the second book in the R.O. Shaw series, and we are on page 130. So we have made it about a third of the way through, and she's really loving this. She would like have me read for hours probably if my throat would allow, but like I make it, these are long chapters for like reading aloud, and so I make it through like 3 chapters and I'm like, I'm done for now. But we are loving this. I love how R. Shaw is so full of action. Like the other day we were reading it and she's like, we have to read another one. She just ends with these amazing cliffhangers. Mama, we have to keep going. Like, it was just hilarious. It happened again today. We were reading and there was a cliffhanger and we had to keep going. And I just love that my 7-year-old is getting so into these bigger fantasy books and like the mythos of the world, and she starts making predictions, and I just love reading them with her. I don't know how much I would have loved this on my own, but I am definitely loving it, sharing it with her and like experiencing it together. We're having a great time. I won't be reading 9 books, I don't think, like I did in the other one, but if I could read like 6, that'd be good. And it just depends on like audiobooks. My husband is gone all week. He's on a work trip, so we won't be doing stuff in the evening together. Like normally if we would have a date night watching TV together or something, I would just be on my own. So maybe if I do a lot of puzzle nights or something like that where I just do audiobooks, I might get through quite a few books. So I'll let you know when I've read something.
In figure skating, there aren't a whole lot of teams, which definitely opens up opportunities for you to find a partner in summer and be at the Olympics by February.
Hi everyone. So it's Tuesday night. I'm sorry that I do not have any like B-roll to show you, any things that we have done, any exciting footage, because we basically haven't done anything Monday and Tuesday. We done school and the kids played outside quite a lot because it hasn't been like sunny. It's been gray, but it's been warm enough that they've just been playing outside a lot, but we haven't gone anywhere, haven't really done anything. So I just didn't take any footage. And the one thing I did last night, because, since my husband's gone, I've been kind of wanting to do something each night. And last night was organizing stuff to take to thrift store. So throughout the year, what we do is we don't take like multiple trips usually. We just kind of gather things in an area in our basement. And then when we have like a good amount of stuff, then we take it in. Well, it was getting a little overboard because we couldn't get to our electrical panel. So it was time to clear that out. But I have to do that at night because my kids will just take stuff out. Like as I'm like organizing and putting in boxes and bags, they will be like, oh, I want that, and they pull things back out. And so I have to wait till they're in bed. So that's what I did last night. I didn't record myself doing it. Sorry if you wanted to see that organizing, but I will show you a picture of the back of my van if you want to see how much stuff. It's quite a lot because I had a lot of like clothes that my youngest daughter has outgrown. I went through a lot of my wardrobe, and then we had like some blankets and pillows and things like that we're getting rid of, and then like a couple boxes of kitchen things. So just general, clearing out of stuff over the last year. I did have some books, but I didn't include that in there because I am taking those to Half Price Books, and we'll do an unhaul video before I take those. So that's all that has happened. Tonight, I am going to be doing a puzzle. So I get puzzles, like a puzzle subscription that comes in the mail, and I get it. It's called completingthepuzzle.com is the place, and they send you in a bag, or like, in a normal shipping thing, they send this bag of the puzzle pieces and then the like guide to follow. And so I'm going to do that tonight because I like to do it kind of right away after I get it so I can send it out back, because the sooner I finish the puzzle and send it back, the sooner I get a new one. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to be listening to Pahua and the Soul Stealer. I've made it almost well, that's not really halfway, is it? That's probably more like 40% of the way. And I am enjoying this. I'm enjoying the audiobook because, like I said, the pronunciation of the Hmong words, which that's one of the things, when I've been describing this in like TBRs and things, I was mispronouncing the culture that this is based off of. It's pronounced Hmong, and I was adding, because there's an H at the beginning of the word, I was adding the H sound, but it doesn't have the H sound, at least not in the audiobook. And when I looked it up online, it's pronounced just Hmong. And so I'm glad I have that because there's a lot of words in here. There is a glossary in the back, so if you read it physically, you can see the glossary in the back with pronunciations of the words, but I really like to hear it said. So I'm enjoying this, but one thing I will note is that because I'm reading this at the same time as I'm reading R.O. Shaw to my daughter, I am noticing that this is very, very similar to R.O. Shaw, like a lot similar. And I can't really say exactly why, but there are things, because some of those would be spoilers for both of the series, but there are some reveals in here that I'm like, they did that in R.O. Shaw. And like just some very specific things that are similar. And maybe it's just because I'm reading a lot of like quest kind of books in a row that there were bound to be similarities. But yeah, I'm still enjoying this one. I still think there's great things from the Hmong culture to learn. And I like our main character. And I love the cat spirit, me. So I would still like, at this point, recommend this book, but I would not recommend reading it in close proximity to R.O. Shaw, because I'm just finding reading them at the same time is kind of confusing because I'm like, am I going to mix up things between the two because of the similarities? So that's it. I am going to listen to this because I only have the audiobook from my library for 2 more days. And I mean, I could just read the book since I have it, but I'm enjoying the audiobook. So I'm going to listen to that while I do my puzzle. The other thing that I have made progress in is The School for Good and Evil. And I'm reading this one physically. It doesn't look like a lot of progress because it's a big book. And I just think the beginning is slow for me. I'm hoping it'll pick up because it's like a 500-page book. I'm hoping that I will end up falling in love with it because it is a popular series. But at this point, at about 86 pages in, I'm not staying invested. So like I would push myself to finish a chapter and then put it down and then pick it up a little bit later when I had another chance. But yeah, I'm not like in that want to keep going, want to find out what happens phase at all. So I'm hoping I get to that point. If not, then I might only read the first book, but I'm hoping that as it goes, you know, he's creating a whole world with this School for Good and Evil. So I'm hoping this is just like world building, and that once we get past some of this world building, I'll get invested. Because right now I'm not invested in either of the main characters. And so there's nothing really like pulling me along, and I'm not really like super excited about what has been revealed about the school so far. So yeah, like I said, hopefully that'll be more, you know, stuff happening, like more investment in the actual characters and plot soon. So that's the plan for tonight. Hello, it is Wednesday night, and yes, I am in the exact same place I was the last time I talked to you, and that's because I'm doing another puzzle. So yes, I'm not going to do a whole montage of this one, just because I didn't feel like you needed 2 puzzle montages in the same video. But the reason I decided to do another puzzle, I usually don't do it like 2 days in a row, but since my husband's gone the whole week, I usually don't do 1,000 piece puzzles, because when I do a 500 piece puzzle, I can do it in one night. It's gone the next day. But this one, I bought this on Book Outlet. It's gonna look like this. And I bought it like for Christmas time, I think I bought it for myself, something. I've had it for a little while, and I just haven't done it because a 1,000 piece puzzle takes me more than one day. And, you know, with people using the table, us having dinner here and all that, I usually feel a little bad like taking up the whole table for a couple days because I don't really have anywhere else to do a puzzle. But since it's just me and the kids, my kids sometimes will sit up. I don't know if you can't see, but there's whoop, over there, there's chairs up on the counter. And like, don't look at my messy counter. There's chairs over there where they eat lunch, and I can just have them eat breakfast and dinner there as well tomorrow. We can all eat over there if they want. And that way I can keep this puzzle for a couple days and do some audiobooks. So what has happened in the last day? So we did go to library story time today. I'm gonna put some clips in after this one. It's a STEAM class, and so they do a little science-based stuff. And today they did animal tracks as the theme. And so I took some videos. They might look funny the way I'm holding the camera, like, because I'm trying not to get other people's kids, like strange kids, in the video that I'm gonna put online. So if you do see another like little boy from the background, that's their best friend, Gus. And I'm not gonna put his face in there, but you might see that they are with like a little boy, and that, you know, he's our buddy that we hang out with a lot. And so they had to go like walk around the library and find animal tracks, and then they did some like art and then play with like stuffed animal things. So you'll see that after this clip. And then what have I been reading? So last night when I was doing that puzzle that I showed you in montage, I was listening to Bahua and the Soul Stealer, and I got about 80% of the way through. And so I figured I would finish this today while I did this puzzle, but when I picked it up to listen to it, turned out it had already returned. I was hoping it wouldn't return till later in the day, but it had returned earlier. So now I'm just gonna have to like physically read the rest of this. So I ended up getting the audiobook for Wolf Speaker and have been listening to that. I'm farther than that because I haven't changed my bookmark yet. I'm not loving the audiobook for this one, but I just don't really care. I just really want to finish this book. So I'm hoping that tonight I can get a good chunk of that through by doing the audiobook, because, you know, reading it physically has been taking me forever to finish it. So this will get it off, like finish it, and then I can pick up the next one and hope that the plot is more interesting. So that's where I'm at. I don't know, is there anything else I need to update you on? I don't think so. So yeah, I'm just doing a puzzle tonight, but I think that's about it for me tonight. Hello, so it's Thursday night and I have some updates. So last night when I was doing that puzzle, I did end up listening to the rest of Wolf Speaker. I'll show you here how much I made in the puzzle the first night. So I got most of the like things that had a lot of color and shape to them. So that was all easy. And then throughout the day today, I was like just picking at it and doing all the little like background pieces. So I did end up finishing that puzzle by like mid-afternoon, but I got quite a lot of that 1,000 piece puzzle done last night. It was just like, I don't love background parts of puzzles, like when there's a lot of like one color in the background. It's just not fun for me. I prefer color and design. So I did all that last night and then just picked at the other stuff today. But in terms of this book, I'm giving it 3 stars for the reasons I was saying before. I loved the first book in the series so much. I loved all the characters. I loved Dane, our main character here. I still like Dane, but this one is definitely a training book. So it feels like a bridge book in the fact that she's learning more about her magical powers, her connection to animals, the things she can do with this magic that connects her to the animals. And so much of this is repetitive because it is like a training sequence almost, like, you know, that you see in a lot of fantasy books. So my hope is, since this feels so much like a training book, that now she's gathered all these skills, she's learned some of the things she can do, that in the next book, more stuff will actually happen, that we will get more characters back. Because also in this one, a lot of the characters that are main characters are not in most of this book. It's pretty much just Dane and a bunch of animals for 80% of this book. And that's fine, except for I just didn't find it that entertaining because it was so repetitive, and I just didn't really like care so much about the animal characters as much. I wanted some of the human characters back. So yeah, I'm excited for the next book. I will continue the series. So I finished that one last night. And then today, you know how I said that I had to send the audiobook back for this. So I had like about, I don't know, 80 to 100 pages, I can't remember, of this. So I have just been kind of reading this throughout the day, and I just finished it. And I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. I think it is really good. I would suggest not reading this at the same time as reading R.O. Shaw. I think that like was a downfall of it, but I'm not gonna blame the book for that, so I'm still gonna give it 4 stars, because if I was reading this without reading that, I wouldn't have had some like the confusion between the 2 plots, because they have very similar things going on in those 2 stories. But it is a good story on its own, and I just really like the main character. She just is so compassionate and really like thinks about other people's feelings. Like that's one of the main things. She's learning how to be this like warrior shaman, and you know, she's given a weapon, and like has like a very powerful weapon for a lot of this book, and just like has the like ability to fight. But in almost every situation, she thinks about like, should I really be fighting this person? Even if it's a demon, she always wants to think like, is there something else that they want that I can give them that or like discuss with them, or like help them to achieve, so that we don't have to fight and kill and all this stuff. And I just really like that, especially in a book for children, them to learn that there's like other ways to get your goals. I mean, because there's a lot of like quest books and fighting books and all that stuff, and I get, you know, like you want to see the superhero have like a battle and everything, but I love that this book really focuses on the fact that there's other ways to solve a conflict, that you can, you know, even like really powerful forces, that you can fight them with different ways that aren't using like physical fighting. So I really like that theme in this book. So I'm giving it 4 stars, and I would continue the series, but I'm gonna wait until I finish the RO series completely. But yeah, 4 stars. I think this is a very worthwhile read, and I really like the main character and want to see where this goes, but we'll wait to finish off that series until I finish some other, you know, quest kind of books. And then speaking of R.O. Shaw, we have gotten a lot of this read. So like my daughter and I were reading this. I was reading out loud to her, but then we've been having to drive to several places this week. 'Cause since we live in the country, everywhere we drive, it takes a while to get there. So like we had like a half-hour drive to this library. It's farther, it's not like our main library, but they have a really, that was the class that I just showed you. They have this STEM class that they love, and so we drive the half hour. So I was like, that's an hour in the car, you know, there and back. We could be listening to the audiobook. And then also like tomorrow we're going to be going to another class that I'll show you pictures from, because it's a nature class. It's really fun. And that's a 40-minute drive. So like we've just been in the car a lot. So I downloaded the audiobook, and because of that, we've made to quite a bit. So like we are, what would that be, like 75% at least of the way, maybe even more, maybe 80% of the way through. I think we only have like maybe 2.5 hours left of the audiobook. So we may even finish this book tomorrow, since we have that 40-minute drive. So I'm loving this. Like this is heading towards a 5-star book. I just really love the characters in this series. I love R.O. Shaw. I love the way she thinks through problems, but then also is like a very, I don't want to call her spunky, but like she has sarcasm, she's feisty, like there's a lot about her I just love. And then we are introduced to some new characters in this one who I'm really enjoying the new characters. I feel like she does a great job, even though this is a fast action paced book, she does a great job of connecting to the character. At least for me, I feel like I'm connected to these characters and really wanting to see them accomplish their goals and everything. So there are like 4 main characters in this one, where the last book there was like 2 main characters. And even with the addition to these 2 main characters, I am loving it. I'm loving all 4 of them and their dynamics and just learning more about them and just loving this series. And even when we finish this one, I might just get the next one on audiobook and just do it that way and listen to that with my daughter. She is absolutely loving that. So I'm very excited that she is loving fantasy books, and especially these like quest adventure kind of books. And she's making all these predictions about who it is. Like there's a thief they're looking for, like who's the thief, who's behind the thief, and like what's gonna be the conclusion. And I love that she's making all these connections, and it's so fun to read it with her. So that's like the main things. I did make some progress on The School for Good and Evil. I ended up switching to audiobook because once I finished Wolf Speaker in audiobook, I got this in audiobook because I was going so slow. I was barely like making a dent in this, and now I'm about 120 pages in. But that's just because I just picked up the audiobook today and I've only listened to a little bit of the audiobook. But now that I have the audiobook, my goal will be to like finish this in this vlog, so over the next 3 days, and decide how I feel about it, because at this point I'm still pretty indifferent to it. But like I said, it's only 120 pages into a 500-page book, so and I just threw it on the ground. But I'm hoping with the audiobook I'll be more invested. So that's where I'm at. So probably will finish Arrow Shaw tomorrow. Switching to the audiobook for The School for Good and Evil, meaning I don't have a physical book. So I'm not gonna pick one right now. I'll probably pick it tomorrow and let you know. So you just saw them at the library in the last clips, and then next I'll show you like when they go to nature class tomorrow. Just popping in real quick to show you some cuteness. I came in to go to bed and all 3 kitties on the bed. I guess they're ready for bedtime and for me to be here. Usually not all 3 of them sleep on our bed, so I don't know, we'll see if they stay when I get in, but these 2 are looking pretty settled, and that's my side of the bed, so maybe they'll stay and snuggle with me. And this guy, he doesn't usually stay, so he'll probably go and wander tonight, but still pretty cute. Flavor of what? Chocolate is my favorite.
Yes, I'm making chocolate right now.
Okay, so it is time for a quick update. It is Saturday. I didn't update yesterday because it was just a long day. We had that nature school that I showed the clips from, and we stayed longer. Like, we had lunch and stayed and played out there with some friends. And yeah, it was just a long time, long morning into the afternoon. And then my husband came home by dinner. So it was a big day, so I didn't update you, but I did finish something yesterday. So we ended up finishing, my daughter and I, R.O. Shaw and the Song of Death, which is book 2 in the R.O. Shaw series. And we had finished it on audio while we were driving, and we loved it. Like, this one I'm giving 5 stars. I just really like this series. I don't know if I'm loving it more because I'm reading it with my daughter and like seeing her get all excited, seeing her make guesses, and like, it's just really fun reading them together. And as soon as we finish, she's like, let's start book 3. So I said we're gonna pause for a few days, but we'll probably start book 3 next week and just do it as an audiobook, because it seems like that's a great way in the car just to have it on audio. It keeps them quieter in the car instead of like bickering. Like, sometimes we would have music, but I think having the book has them concentrating more, and then my younger one just plays with her toys and looks at her books in the car. So I think we're gonna go with that. But yeah, I love the R.O. Shaw series so far. 2 books in and really enjoying it. And then the other thing I made progress on is that I am over halfway through. Actually, I'm farther than this because I've switched to the audiobook. And so I'm at page 280, and there's almost 500 pages. So over halfway through this, and I'm more interested, but I'm still not loving it. Like, at this point, I'm still kind of like in the middle about it. So part of it is that I just hate Sophie, this character. She's just so obnoxious. And I know she's supposed to be, but when she's so much of the plot, since there's just like 2 main characters, it makes it so hard to get through her scenes because I just want to like strangle her, and I just really do not like her. I just want to focus on Agatha. I really like Agatha as a character. So I'm interested when we're focused on Agatha, but then whenever Sophie's the focus, I'm not enjoying myself, and I'm still not sure where we're going with the plot, because like right now it feels like we're really focused on this whole like boy thing. Like, there's a boy that Sophie's going after and trying to get true love's kiss and all that stuff, and I just don't care about that plot. So I'm hoping that that will turn into something else later on, and that we will have a more interesting plot, because every time I read reviews, people say they really enjoy it, that the ending of this is really fast-paced. So at this point it would be a 3-star, but I'm getting more interested in at least Agatha as a character, that I want to like finish this off. I still don't know yet whether I will continue. If it's still a 3-star at the end, I'm not going to continue the series, but we shall see what the second half with the next 200 and some pages bring. And then I started a couple things. So I put up because that's what I'm doing on audiobook now. I switched to audiobook. And so I needed a physical book, and I put a poll up on Instagram between these 2 books, Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim and Castle in the Air. And it was tied for a lot of the time, but then at the very last moment, Mrs. Frisby won. So I have started this just a couple chapters in. I'm reading this because Secret of Nim was my favorite movie as a child. I loved that movie so much, but I haven't watched that movie since childhood. So I just wanted to like read the book version, and then I don't know if I can find the movie online somewhere because I don't own it, because it would be fun to revisit the movie after reading the book, because I know that they're different. So far I'm enjoying the writing of that. Like I said, only 2 chapters in. And I did start another book because I've been trying to do like short story books each month, and I'm not gonna finish this weekend. I'll probably read it throughout the rest of the month. I'm gonna hope to finish this one by the end of the weekend, and maybe even the audiobook. So this might be the last. I'll have another update, but I probably won't start anything new. So these 2 I hope to finish. This one that I'm about to talk about, I'm not going to finish by the end of this vlog, but hopefully by the end of the month. And that's Scary Stories for Young Foxes. And this is about what do you call them? A litter, yeah. A litter of fox cubs who, is that what they are? Kits, fox kits. who go to this other fox to hear like an older fox to hear scary stories, and it sounds like they start dropping off one by one, as in like leaving because they're too scared, not necessarily dying, but like that, because like it says on the back, the first flees, the teacher with the dark gooey eyes, and like the second and the third. So it's like they're telling stories, and after each one, a fox leaves because they're too scared. And then we have the fox that hears the whole story, or all the stories, and there's like 8 stories in here, and I've only very much just started. I'm at the first story. I'm at the introduction where we're meeting the fox kids, and the storyteller's about to start the stories. So my plan was just to read a story each day, and these are scary stories, and like probably most people read this in the fall because this takes place in the fall, but I like kind of middle grade spooky books all year round. So, and plus right now it feels like the fall because we had like a little bit of nice weather last week. We had like, well, I think I showed you a clip where I was sitting outside reading while my kids were playing with no coats on. And then yesterday when we were at the class, we had our like hats and our coats and gloves on. And then today it like snowed for a little bit. So it feels like we're going to fall because we had like some nice weather and now it's cold again. So it works to be doing that, to be reading that now. So that's my update. Finished a book, getting a good way through one, and then starting 2 more. All right, so it's Monday, so time to wrap up this vlog. I meant to wrap it up yesterday, Sunday night, but I was doing sprints on Krista's channel from Books and Jams, and so I just like, it was late. They went kind of long. So by the time that was done, it was getting after 10:30. So I just figured I would wrap this up today, which actually worked out because I ended up getting a couple boxes of book mail. So I figured let's open this. You can see what I got, and then I'll tell you what I have read this week, wrap up the reading. So here's my first package. I think this is actually a homeschool book, if I am remembering what I should be getting in the mail, but I might be wrong. It might actually be a Goodreads giveaway. So that would be exciting. Looks like another package inside that package. Not really sure why. Oh my gosh. And it's hard. I do not think this is the homeschool book. I actually think, yeah, this is my Goodreads giveaway. So I have, you know, tried for Goodreads giveaways for years and never gotten one. So I was like, what's the likelihood that I'm ever gonna win? And then a month ago, I won Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, which is an April release. And then like a week after that one came, I got notified that I won another giveaway. And that was for Pandora's Jar by Natalie Haynes. This is a nonfiction essay collection about women in Greek myths. And this had already, I think this was published like 2 or 3 years ago in the UK, and then now it's coming out in a US paperback or something like that. Like I just know that they're repackaging it, and so I won this. I don't think this version is coming out for another month or something. So I got a copy of it as part of the Goodreads giveaway. So that's exciting. I really like this copy of the paperback, and I look forward to reading to this because I've been really into the Greek myths lately. So that's just exciting, like 2 Goodreads giveaways in like within a month of each other when I have like never won a giveaway before. So that was just kind of weird. And then I have a book outlet, which that makes a lot of noise. Book outlet. This is not all books. Some of this is Easter gifts. I don't want my kids to hear because they also have like some toys and stuff on there. And it was something like buy 2 items, get 1 free. And I didn't have as many books that I wanted to get, so I went ahead and got my kids their Easter gifts as well. So for my younger daughter, I have like a wipe and clean seek and find book. She loves these kind of things where they circle different pictures with dry erase so that it'll be reusable. She likes those. And then let's see, also for my younger one, I got this. What is this? It's called Bug Builder. So you make little bugs. So kind of bigger than Legos because she's not really ready for those little tiny things yet. And then for my older one, I got her this is like a glow drawing board. So you draw on this board and then it has a light that comes up and a glare so that it'll glow. Yeah, so I thought that would be something she liked. She really likes to draw, and so I just thought the glowing thing might be fun. She could even do it like in her bedroom when it's dark. And then I also got her some toys. These were actually, there's a lot of them in here because it came as like this whole set, but they're these dinosaur building, almost like Legos, but not Lego brand. But they came as like a set of 5 of these. So I don't know that I'm gonna give her all of these for Easter because that seems like a lot to put in one Easter basket, but yeah, it's like a whole bunch of these dinosaur building sets because she has been loving Legos and she likes dinosaurs. I'm gonna put these back in the box so in case a kid shows up, they don't see. But then I also got 2 books, so that's probably what you guys care about. So I had bought these because in my last vlog I talked about how I'm reading I Am Malala, the Young Readers Edition. I still haven't finished that. I mean, I'm so close to the end, but like I basically started this vlog, so I didn't finish that book. But now that I'm done with this vlog, I'll go finish this. But even though I hadn't finished that one, I knew even halfway through that book that I wanted to read the I Am Malala adult version. So I saw it on Book Outlet. They had this beautiful cover of it. I know this isn't the original cover, but I just really like this. So yeah, this is the adult version of I Am Malala. So I have that now. And then because I was like really loving that, I went ahead and bought Malala Yousafzai's other book, which is We Are Displaced. And this is just a bunch of stories about women who are refugees, like the refugee experience from a bunch of different women. And I love this cover too. So 2 beautiful covers, both by Malala. So yeah, those are the books I got. And then the other things that I have from Book Outlet. So actually, because I hear my kiddos moving, I'm gonna move this stuff and then come back and give you my wrap up. All right, so I'm back from hiding that stuff. I wanna make sure they didn't see it. So let's wrap up what I have finished because I haven't updated you in 2 days. So in that time, I finished The School for Good and Evil. And for the majority of this book, it was sitting at a 3-star for me. There was a lot of things that were bugging me. Like this whole thing with like, there's a boy, Prince Tedros, and I just really don't like his character. And like both of the girls, like figuring out how they feel about him and their relationship with him. And I'm like, I just don't care. I hate Tedros so much. So there, a lot of times that whole plot thing was really bugging me. So it's 3 stars for a lot of this. And then about like 100 pages from the end, it started kind of taking on a different focus. And then I was really enjoying those last 100 pages. So I don't know, like I kind of feel like I'm gonna give it a 4 as in a roundup to a 4 on Goodreads, but this would really be a 3.5 because even though it was like 3 stars most of the time, I really liked the last 100 pages. It was like really explosive and it started talking about some different themes. And so I'm curious to see where the second one goes, but I also just don't know because I hate that character so much. And I also was really frustrated with Sophie's character for the majority of this book. I love Agatha, so I'm like, is it enough to continue? So I don't know, I'm gonna take a little breather, kind of figure out if I wanna continue. But yes, at this point, I'm rounding it up to a 4, but I haven't decided whether I'm gonna continue the series or not. And then the other 3 things that I had finished were Aru Shan, the Song of Death. That was a 5-star, love that one. Pahua and the Soul Stealer, that's a 4-star, really enjoyed that one. And then Wolf Speaker was a 3-star, it was fine. And then the things that I started, I didn't really read much last night, even doing the like sprints. I was editing a video and doing some other stuff, so I didn't actually get very far in these 2 books, but I'm really enjoying them so far. So for Scary Stories for Young Foxes, I went through the first story. Like I said, there's a collection of scary stories that I think relate, and there's like an overall theme that I think we're gonna see over after we've finished it. But after one story, I really like the way he writes his stories. They're definitely like kid level, but it's like spooky story kid level. So if you have a child that likes to be creeped out, like I know when I was a kid, I read those like, you know, scary stories to tell in the dark, those books, you can hear them wrestling up there. It is really loud. They're fine. They're just wrestling and having a good time. You can tell the difference between the fun giggles and the like screaming. Yeah, but this one is very similar in that like like you could tell the creepiness and everything. I like the way that story was written, so I am excited to continue that one. And then I have made it about 30 pages in Mrs. Frisby, but I am loving this so far, mostly because it is making me remember all these scenes from the movie that I love. Like, so much of this is like, I can see the scene exactly from the movie. I love Jeremy the Crow and like Mr. Ages, and yeah, just there's so many scenes in this that I very distinctly can remember, and so this is giving me major nostalgia, and I'm definitely excited to continue reading this. So even though I didn't finish these two, I am loving them so far, which is great because like I said last week, before I started this vlog, almost everything I was picking up I just was not really getting into. And you know, other than like Wolf Speaker being a 3 and the School for Good and Evil took me a long time to get interested, but these are like pulling me in right away. So I'm hoping that these will be finished before the end of the month, even though they weren't finished with this vlog. So that's it for my second middle grade March vlog. I hope your month is going well so far and that you are finding a genre that you are really enjoying to read. See you next time. Bye.